Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Monty Python Fluxx is exactly what you think it's going to be. It's Fluxx with some Monty Python humor thrown in, and that's exactly what they give you here. So Fluxx is a game that doesn't have an in condition when you start it. It's draw a card, play a card. And as you play cards, you're going to be playing goal cards, which are just ways to win the game. Have these 3 cards down, have these 2 cards down. And those goals will change as the game goes on. Now, I gave Fluxx, not this version, but I gave Marvel Fluxx to somebody as a gift for an 8-year-old, and the parent just couldn't figure it out. It was just too difficult, too abstract with that ending not being there. And once I sat down and showed it to her, she was able to play it, and they enjoyed it. I don't know if they ever went back to it, but it's kind of the same thing here. This game could last forever, or it could end really quickly. It's one of those things. Now, why would you choose Monty Python Fluxx over any other Fluxx? That's really going to come down to what kind of theme do you want. I don't think any of them are better than other ones. Do you like Monty Python IP? If you do, this is going to appeal to you. Are you going to like Fluxx? I mean, it's okay. It's kind of a gateway game, you know, something you might play as a lark, play with your kids, play with non-gamers, but it's anything that gamers, you know, if you're already playing Agricola or Caverna or Le Havre, I don't think you're going to go back to this very often, but maybe you will. It's a very simple game to play. It's very easy. The artwork is kept very minimal. It's got some humor into it. And it's always fun. It's just know that you might be there for a while. For me, it's going to be a Purge. I'm not really into the Monty Python thing anyway, so this one I do not need to keep. So here's Monty Python Fluxx. You can see it's a little small portable game in most sizes of how the Fluxx games will come. When you first open it up, you're going to get a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. There's a little case here of the cards. I'll show you. I mean, all you're going to get here is a deck of cards, but I'll show you what some of these cards look like. Not a lot of artwork on them. You can see this little like clip art that'll be at the bottom, but for the most part, it's very wordy. So reading will be important here as you're going through. But you can kind of see the artwork is from Monty Python. But everything else can look very Fluxx-esque. The cards are okay, you know, at the best quality in the world. They say Fluxx on the back, how generic. But, you know, they hold up after repeated plays, and they're rounded, so they're easy to shuffle when you're getting ready to play. So here's the rule book for Monty Python Fluxx. It will open up kind of like a roadmap. It is very, very long and very wordy. It's a very easy game to play. Kind of takes you through and tells you, you know, just jump in and start playing. Tells you how to begin. Down here gives you a sample game and kind of how a turn will go. And then explains each of the type of cards and how to win down here. On the back is just a fact of a bunch of questions you might have, basically from other Fluxx games. They didn't want to bog down the rules with that, but they wanted to include them. So, good job with the rules. You probably can, I mean, really, honestly, you start out just play a card, draw a card, play a card. So you really could just get going and kind of guess on how you're going. It does help to have somebody at the table who kind of knows what's going on. I gave this away as a gift, and they came over to my house and definitely had to learn. They weren't able to learn it on their own. So there is that. So the game's pretty easy to play. You can have this basic rule that'll be out. It just tells you draw one, play one. There is no way to win the game at the beginning of the game. You'll shuffle up the deck, and you'll draw the cards. That will be your starting hand. After you draw your 3 cards, you put the deck there, then you're ready to go. Just like the rules say, on your turn, you draw a card, and then you play a card. There are a few different types of cards that you can play that will be in the deck. The first thing you're going to play is a new rule card. If you played this down your turn, it'll just give you a new rule. So to play this card, place it face up in the center of the table, and always look on the bright side. Creepers do not prevent you from winning. So as long as this rule is out, creepers do not prevent you from winning. Here's a new one. Keeper limit 3. To play this card, place it face up in the center of the table. This rule goes into effect as soon as you play it. Your keeper limit is now 3. So these rule cards will come up, and they will just kind of change the rules. Another one you'll have is the goal cards. They'll always have this pink little strip. They just tell you how you win the game. If you have the cow and the counterpult in front of you, then you'll win. So you're going to have a bunch of goal cards. Somebody could just play this on top of it, and now the goal has changed. You need to have the important message and the finger of God on the table to win, and it would cover up the previous goal. So it's always going to be one goal, unless a rule tells you more, but always one goal in play. So what are these goal cards referring to? The keeper cards. And these keeper cards you can put down in front of you. Normally you can have as many as you want, but there may be like this roll right here, so you can only have a maximum of 3, and you'll have these in front of you. So the goal card said, in order to win, you got to have the finger of God and the important message. So here's the finger of God and important message. If I had these 2 keepers in front of me and this goal card is in play, then I would win the game. If it was in play, and then somebody put one over it, it's no longer in play, even if I had these in front of me. So it has to be in front of me with the goal card put in. And these keeper cards just kind of put in front of you and do exactly what it says. You keep them. The last type of card are these creeper cards. These are the killer rabbit. In this particular case, you cannot win if you have this unless the goal says otherwise. So your creeper card in you just prevents you from winning. Just kind of read and do what it says. So let's go back to the beginning of the game. You'll have these cards. You're going to shuffle up the deck. Everybody's going to draw 3 cards and be ready to go. The first rule just says, draw a card, play a card. So I'm going to draw a card from the top of the deck, and maybe I want to get a goal card out there. So that card would go, next player would go, next player, back on my turn. I draw a card, and I play a card. Maybe I want to get this keeper down in front of me. Great, that's my turn. And that just continues on and on until somebody has met the goals of whatever goal card happens to be up at the time. The game can last 2 minutes or it can last 200 minutes. Just depends on when somebody accomplishes the goal. Who should play this game? Let me be very clear. Let's talk about Fluxx first. If you're into Fluxx type games, play a card, draw a card, play a card with ever-changing endings and goals, and you don't mind that kind of chaos that's going to be in it, take that, things that are changing. It's kind of, you don't really have a lot of control over it, then Fluxx you're going to like. Now, do you need Monty Python Fluxx? Do you like Monty Python? The answer to that question is yes. Then this is the version of Fluxx for you to get. Anyone else need not apply. For me, it's going to be a Purge.